Good morning, you guys. I am on part 6 of the Flavius Josephus and Revelation similarities. So if you haven't watched parts 1 through 5, go back on my page and watch them. They are about how I believe Revelation was plagiarized from Flavius Josephus' writings. Of course, we know also in Revelation, I've had this on some of my comments on my videos, we know in Revelation that parts of Ezekiel is included in that book as well. So whoever the author of Revelation is, they pulled from the Hebrew Bible, which was Ezekiel, and they also pulled from Flavius Josephus, and who knows where else they pulled. So this is going to be about the part in Revelation where the two witnesses lie in the streets of the great city, and they are refused burial. So in Revelation 11, 7 through 13, I'm going to start with verse 8. Their bodies will lie in the street of the great city, figuratively called Sodom and Egypt, where their Lord was also crucified. So we know that Jesus was crucified in Jerusalem, and Jerusalem was considered the holy city or the great city. So we know this is talking about Jerusalem. And I have other videos showing that Mystery Babylon was 1st century Jerusalem. If you'll go look in my playlist and see it. I believe it's in the tab Prophecies. So for 3.5 days, all peoples and tribes and tongues and nations will view their bodies and will not permit them to be laid in a tomb. So they're refusing to let them be buried. So in Josephus' War of the Jews, book 4, chapter 5, paragraph 2, it talks about this. So it talks about two specific zealots, okay, that were opposing the war and they were working for peace. And this is how Josephus describes their deaths. It even gives you the names of these two people. So the Idumeans sought for the high priests and went with the greatest zeal against them. And as soon as they caught them, they slew them, and then standing upon their dead bodies in way of jest, upbraided Ananias with his kindness to the people, and Jesus with his speech made to them from the wall. That's the two names. Nay, they proceeded to that degree of impiety as to cast away their dead bodies without burial. So here's the refusal to bury them. I should not mistake if I said that the death of Ananias was the beginning of the destruction of the city. He preferred peace above all things. He was a shrewd man in speaking and persuading the people, and had already gotten the mastery of those that opposed his designs or were for the war. And this, at last, was the end of Ananias and Jesus. So that's the name of the two people Josephus was talking about, Ananias and Jesus, and they were slain in the streets and refused to be buried. So we're jumping back into Revelation 11, but we're going to go ahead and go down to verse 11. But after the 3.5 days, the breath of life from God entered the two witnesses. They stood on their feet, and a great fear fell upon those who saw them. And the witnesses heard a loud voice from heaven saying, Come up here. And they went up to heaven in a cloud as their enemies watched them. Now, Flavius Josephus talks about a voice from heaven speaking and saying, Let us remove hence, and I'll tell you where that's at. So it's in Flavius Josephus, War of the Jews, book 6, paragraph 299 and 300. This is the section it's in. So anyway, this is what it says. Moreover, at that feast, which we call Pentecost, as the priests were going by night into the inner court of the temple, as their custom was to perform their sacred ministrations, they said that, in the first place, they felt a quaking and heard a great noise. And after that they heard a sound as of a great multitude, saying, Let us remove hence. But what is still more terrible, there was one Jesus, the son of Ananias, a plebeian and a husbandman, who 4 years before the war began, and at a time when the city was in very great peace and prosperity, came to that feast whereon it is our custom for everyone to make tabernacles to God in the temple. So you notice there's several Jesus that Josephus talks about. But in this specific verse, it talks about a loud voice that sounded like a great multitude saying, "Let us remove hence." So it goes along with Revelation 11, verse 12, where it says, "And the witnesses heard a loud voice from heaven saying, 'Come up here.'" But did you also notice when I read from the War of the Jews, it talked about a great quakening? It says, "They felt a quakening and heard a great noise." In Revelation 11, verse 13, it says, "And in that hour there was a great earthquake, and 1/10 of the city collapsed. And then 7,000 were unalived in the quake, and the rest were terrified, gave glory to the God of heaven." So now we go back to War of the Jews, book 4, chapter 4, paragraph 5, that talks about the great earthquake. "For there broke out a prodigious storm in the night, with the utmost violence, and very strong winds, with the largest showers of rain, with continued lightnings, terrible thunderings, and amazing concussions, and bellowings of the earth, that was in an earthquake. Anyone would guess that these wonders foreshowed some grand calamities that were coming." So I want to show you how many people he said were unalived. So we're going to back up to paragraph 1. And it says, "And now the outer temple was all of it overflowed with blood. And that day, as it came on, they saw 8,500 unalived bodies there." Remember in Revelation, John saw 7,000 unalived bodies. So this is the end of part 6. If you guys have enjoyed it and you've learned anything, if you have any tips for me that I need to do to make these videos a little bit better, let me know in the comments. And if you have any questions or anything, let me know. What do you think about all of this? I'm curious.